groups have already combined to put out a communique outlining their fears about centralising wool handling in Sydney. While acknowledging that centralisation encouraged the user pay principle, the communique claimed that shipping companies and not growers would be the greatest beneficiaries. The Newcastle groups believe Newcastle handling results in lower costs and quicker turnaround. The protest has been sent to the Australian Wool Corporation.
It amounts to this, that we look at those people that presently have Housing Commission homes, we say to them, we will subsidise you with cash which you can add to your first homeowner scheme grant, and you can go out and buy yourself your own new home. That frees up that Housing Commission home, so really you're getting two homes for the price of one subsidy.
How workable do you think the scheme would be in Newcastle?
Well, not only is it workable statewide, but in Newcastle I think that it has particular application, because you have a waiting list, I think, of around 4,000, which is not many considering the rest of the state. And it only needs the application of, say, 1,500 new homes to people that are already in Housing Commission homes to make a big indent on that waiting list.
Do you think the government is likely to adopt the scheme?
I'm very hopeful. We've had some very positive discussions with the government over the period since we first mentioned it, and I believe that there's every chance of it being taken up by the state government.
They've made a few changes. They've dropped their big guy, and they picked up Jerry Stewart from Illawarra, who's a good scorer, but they're lacking in a bit of height without the 7-footer, I think.
That'd make you smile a bit, not having to confront a 7-footer, particularly not so much you, but the guys around the boards.
Well, that's right. Our big players, Scott Hall and Jimmy Bateman and Stewie Begg, should have an easier time without a 7-footer in there, because we will have the height advantage now.
They're privately owned, and they've bought supposedly well, but they need to create teamwork, don't they?
That's right. They've brought a lot of reputation players that you get 5 stars in one squad, and it's very hard for everybody to mix with one another, and I think that's where we have an advantage, because we have a bit of a nucleus here for the last 2 or 3 years, and we've brought in a new American this year, and I think he's fitting in well.
How's the shooting going?
Good. I feel really good now. Everybody's fit and ready to go, and we're ready to get the first one up.
We think of basketball, and we think of the Harlem Globetrotters, and they have a Harlem Globetrotter. Is that a plus or a minus or what?
Well, it's a whole different game. This is a serious league here, and the Harlem Globetrotters is for entertainment. They're great individual skills and tricks and all that, but when it comes down to serious basketball, they find problems.
We're talking of Tiny Pinder. How do you rate him in this league?
Well, I've only had a look at him the one time, and he didn't have a very good game against us, but he definitely has natural talent, and he'll have to be reckoned with. I mean, you'll have to play defense on him, or he can easily get 30 points.
What's going to be the margin?
Oh, I wouldn't say lead, but hopefully we'll get up by at least 10 or more.
The meeting of the Bus Employees Union got underway at 10:30 this morning when the Federal President, Norman Maddock, and Federal Secretary David Wilmot presented the findings of the investigation they've been carrying out into
Sunday morning, the 3rd of March,
funds.
handed them in an envelope to Dave
The
Winwood.
state union official has misused funds by paying himself holiday wages and loading without taking holiday leave.
And it is on record there, and I'll show it to you in document. Misuse
called on the official to resign
of money in the New South Wales
and
brand.
if he does so, union dues will not be paid.
It has been established that there has been a misappropriation of union funds in the New South Wales branch.
How much money are we talking about?
We're talking about $15,000.
Is there likely to be further industrial action?
There could be, but at this moment there is nothing planned. But I believe with the mood of the members here in Newcastle and the mood of some of the members in the Sydney area, there could be industrial action.
The effect of industrial action was felt in Newcastle with today's stoppage. So although buses were on the road again by 3:30, many regular services were delayed.
If you can't get your parents to come, you have to walk home. Well, it's a lot of pain for some people that have to walk down, because we have to walk all the way to Carrington, which is pretty far from here.
The photographs taken by 10 artists fall into two major categories: the more contemporary works, which include beach scenes and suburban landscapes, and a wide range of abstract photography. After the artefact emerged from a proposal by the Wollongong City Gallery to photographer Jeff Clean to stage a one-man exhibition. It snowballed when 9 other Sydney photographers offered to present their works. The exhibition can be seen at the Newcastle Region Art Gallery up to the 12th of May.
He looks in fine fettle for tomorrow's race.
Well, he's going well, and he'll be hard to beat tomorrow.
He's been going well for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, extra well.
Just tell us about what he's done.
Well, he's before he got beat the other day at Sydney Golden Slipper Day, he ran 4 straight down there, and he ran the race record this last start he won down there. And
this time in, he's what, just been out of a place once, I believe?
Yeah, once in 12 starts, yeah.
You'll be very happy with him?
Yeah.
What price are we going to get about him?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he'll give you any big odds.
But do you think he can win?
I think so.
This is what happened recently because of the build-up of sand in Swansea Channel. Boats getting stranded is one result, but claims by local environmentalists suggest more serious long-term problems if the channel isn't deepened beyond its present 1.2 metre low. Many of the problems will rise from the inner waters of Lake Macquarie stagnating because of instability outside the river.
We're now looking at, of course, bringing about a conference visited by the ministers concerned in relation to it.
Lake Macquarie City Council also has another matter to contend with. It's this commission report just released.
But we're not going to get under 5 populations
of income and
city
expenditure.
sites.
It says council will have a deficit of $36 million within 10 years, which continues on its present administrative path. The report also says the council receives about 40% less income, including government grants, than similar-sized councils elsewhere in New South Wales.
I suppose to some degree a bit disappointing, but it's something that I think arises out of a report that's done in such detail as this has been done.
Well, if you are in fact down around about 40% on income from, say, governments, where do you think the fault has been?
Well, I think to a large extent it's probably been, the fault lays really, I think, with the lack of realisation of exactly what has been happening in this particular city area. It's given a very false impression of its own size and the number of populations that it serves.
Public debut at only 11 years old. At the age of 14, he was awarded a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music in London. He came to Australia in 1971 to excel at the New South Wales Conservatorium of Music, the Adelaide School of Music and the Elder Conservatorium. The orchestra will be conducted by Willis Thursday and I perform sharp at 8 o'clock at the City Hall.
In last night's away match against Sydney Olympic, Rosebud lost 3 goals to 2, but it was a match surrounded by controversy. Although not obvious here, reports on the NSL Cup semis say Rosebud's goalkeeper Tim Gosling was at times prevented from standing in the goal mouth due to flying bottles and cans from Olympic supporters. Rosebud led 2-0 at half-time, but again match reports allege that in the second half several vital refereeing decisions went against Rosebud, resulting in goals for Olympic. However, it's the match violence that's yet to be dealt with. Rosebud officials will await a league executive decision on the matter in the next couple of days. If Rosebud officials aren't satisfied with the handling of the incident, they'll lodge the strongest protest possible with league boss Stephen Torres.
Fortune favoured the defender, who was pulled back by Peter.
That early break, look at Bruton. Gave it away to Wilson.
Around as we see Bruton take the long one. Another two.
Just through the dummy, the famous, you see allowed the man to go by.
And he has plenty of top-class mates in the Brisbane side. The Falcons will though go into the match in a confident mood,
the feeling is amongst the crowd here tonight, they're very quiet at the moment.
And they believe in themselves. When long-range hotshots Ian Davies and Mike Johnson recapture their unbounded class, watch out, as they are winning without that brilliance at the moment. Jim Bateman seems to have endless energy and ability, giving away inches on the board to the star every time he turns out. The Falcons have won the lottery, getting him.
Still big and strong.
A huge police search for Lewthwaite began late yesterday in the Morisset area after detectives from Toronto confirmed he'd been sighted by staff at the Morisset Mental Hospital, where he'd once been a patient. The search was called off only after it was confirmed that the convicted child killer had been arrested at Tuggerah Railway Station.
9145. Just had a call from Detective Dallas from Wyong Police Station. It is the SCP Lewthwaite. Making those the times that all cars leave that area. Wyong Police Station wanted contact with them. 9140, thank you.
After surrendering without a struggle to 2 highway patrol officers from Wyong, the escapee was taken to Wyong Police Station, given a meal, and then led handcuffed to the dock to be charged with escaping from lawful custody. The breakthrough which led to Lewthwaite's arrest came when a Central Coast resident recognised him travelling on a southbound train. A call to check the train went out on police radio, and Senior Constables Peter Royal and John Cuthbert were only 2 minutes from Tuggerah Railway Station. Did you call for the train to be stopped, or did it stop there?
No, the train stopped at the same time we arrived at that location.
What happened then?
We made our way to the train and made a search at the last carriage of the train where Lewthwaite was located.
How many people were in the carriage?
3.
Did he admit to being the man you were after?
Not immediately.
Did he put up a struggle?
No, no struggle at all.
What happened then?
He was placed under arrest and conveyed back to Wyong Police Station.
When he was arrested, Lewthwaite was still wearing the same clothes he had on when he left Long Bay Jail on Tuesday. Since then, he's been moving around on trains, and on Wednesday visited Maitland, where he borrowed money to catch a train back to Sydney. Because of the nature of the crime for which he was convicted in 1974, the savage killing of a 5-year-old girl, there's been widespread public outcry at Lewthwaite being allowed out of jail unescorted. For security reasons, he was last night transferred from Wyong Police Station. He appeared in Justice Court this morning, where he was formally charged with escaping from lawful custody. He was remanded in custody to appear in resident court on Tuesday.
Brennan, a teacher who specialises in remedial reading techniques, today held a workshop to teach parents how they can give practical help to their children in overcoming reading problems. The main aim of the workshop was to help parents identify the source of their children's problems. The group then discussed and watched a demonstration of exercises which, according to Ms Brennan, have proved effective for overcoming different kinds of blockage. Ms Brennan, with a similar specialist, Gwenda Sanderson, established and runs the Arundel Education Centre, which helps children with reading problems.
Then they go to initial reading schemes, and some of the most common are things
The newly formed organisation's first meeting was relaxed and friendly and was called to gauge interest and generate ideas amongst the region's restaurant owners and managers. The association hopes to make the hunt just as famous for its food as it already is for its wine. And to achieve that end, wine growers as well as food producers are encouraged to take an active role. Michael Parker, a spokesman for the group, said its aim is not only to encourage people to dine out more regularly, but also to lift the standard of restaurants.
Basically, the association has been formed to increase public awareness of various good food and wine styles in Newcastle and the Hunter Valley.
What sorts of activities are you planning?
The first major activity for the association will be the collaboration with ExpoVin this year to create the Food and Wine Expo of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. And we're using this as a main launching of the association, and a gentleman by the name of Jacques Pepin, who is a French master, who will be not only representing the association but also hoping to promote and open the Food and Wine Expo.
Now you're hoping to incorporate wine growers and producers. Why?
Basically to bring the association a little closer with the people that are producing our own products that we're using, in other words our raw materials, but using local producers rather than having to bring in people from other areas such as Sydney and overseas.
The idea is that they'll be really taken out of the school setting, which is a big change for a start, and is identified as one of the problems for a period of maximum period of 4 weeks. So they'll be out of the school setting and into a different environment entirely. They'll be not going through an 8-period program each day. They'll be going through a program which will vary quite markedly. There'll be some basic learning in it, some basic skills, but to a large extent it will operate on identified problems each individual child is having. So
the centre
if a
will
child
be
is
established at Fellowship House in King Street, Newcastle, where up to a dozen students at a time will undergo an intensive program arranged by the department in conjunction with the Department of Youth and Community Services and other instrumentalities.
As part of the program within the school setting, we'll be continuing to offer counselling services long after the child goes back to the school. We'll keep in touch with all those people involved with the child, so that we can try and iron out the problems of getting back into the school again.